Just over the last couple of days, we've heard from just over 1,100 Australian authors registering their use of their copyright work in this data set. Now, that represents over 7,000 Australian books. So the scale of this breach is astounding. We expect that number to increase over time. And it includes novelists, it includes biographers, historians, educational books, children's authors, traditionally published and self-published authors. So the breadth of the breach is massive.
And how did they find out that their work was part of this data set that's being used by Meta?
So The Atlantic published a searchable tool for the database. So authors were able to access that tool to search for their work and were horrified to discover that much of their life's work has been included in this data set.
So authors are suing Meta in the US. What action can writers here take?
Well, action in Australia is complicated and limited. So, as you say, litigation is taking place overseas. Unfortunately, because the scraping or the infringing act occurred offshore, we understand that there are complications for bringing infringement claims in Australia. So in our view, the best recourse for Australian authors and illustrators, the best remedy is government intervention. So that is the government ensuring that there is consent sought, credit given and compensation provided to creators. That's what we've been advocating for. We're asking for a new law that will compensate creators in an ongoing way for the use of their work to train AI models offshore.
We did reach out to Meta. We haven't had a response from them so far on this, but Meta, in defending the court action in the US, they've said that they've made fair use of the books in developing its AI as their defence. Fair use allows for the unauthorised use of copyrighted material under certain circumstances. That's the definition. The ruling in this case then is going to be closely watched, isn't it? Because it'll set a precedent.
Yes, yeah, so it is going to be closely watched. It is still unclear whether this use will be permissible under fair use. That will be battled out in the courts. In Australia, we have to think about, do we want to gamble Australian culture on the outcome of lawsuits overseas in the US? Do we want to rely on US courts, or do we want the government to take action to protect creators' livelihoods?
So this is how Meta has used authors' works. How have other AI companies approached this? Have they entered into agreements with writers and paid them?
Yes, yeah. So some AI companies are entering into licensing arrangements with publishers and news media, and this actually undermines their fair use claim because it shows that there is a market for licensing. So there was always a way to develop this technology ethically, and unfortunately it seems as if Meta and other AI companies have decided not to do so.
How strong has been the response from Australian authors to this?
They are understandably outraged. That is their life's work. And there's no other way to say it. It is plainly appalling. It is appalling. We are asking authors to subsidise the cost of developing AI technology. Presumably Meta and other AI tech companies are paying their staff, they're paying developers, they're paying their rent and their energy bills, they're paying their shareholders. Why are authors and creators generally the only ones who are expected to provide work for free?
Lucy Hayward, good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.